Hi, welcome to San Francisco Weekly News. My name is Diane Smith. Well, voting is here very quickly. The primaries, presidential primaries, and also most of us are accustomed to the elections occurring in June, but this year the primaries rather than June. They're occurring in March, on March the 3rd. You see that? Anyway, it's March the 3rd, 2020. So you can vote early, like my husband and I did. When I leave the show today, I'm going directly to the post office box. We have voted once we place them in the mailbox. That's what's great about absentee voting. If you have a lot going on in your life, or if you're traveling, or you want to be prepared for the unexpected, and you want the insurance of your vote being cast, absentee ballot might be the way to go. It works for me because I don't know what's going on, what might happen rather. Well, no, I don't really know what's going on so many levels right now in our country, but I have every confidence that a power greater than ourselves will fix it. And right now we have a splendid opportunity, fellow San Franciscans. As you know, as an affordable housing specialist myself, a licensed real estate broker, small business owner, San Francisco native, blah blah blah. But most importantly, I'm an elder, and so I have a responsibility. And part of my responsibility is any elder in any level of expertise or anything positive that they have to give, we are required to give it. So, speaking of that, what is so wonderful about this election, which is March the 3rd, is this Proposition E. Proposition E is going to give us an opportunity to really get that balance we've been talking about. We fought since since 2001. Okay, that's when I came on board physically with the fight, specifically around affordable housing, real affordable housing, not like, who is it affordable for? But in accordance with the California Health and Safety Code. So as I think about that is what is on my heart. And that's why every year I take the time to read the propositions and the Senate bills very closely so that I understand. So if someone asks me, I can share with them because I've read it and I've read it and I've read this opinion and various opinions. So I have some recommendations. We at San Francisco Weekly News like to give recommendations, voting recommendations, because voting is voting for our future. It's voting for the government that we, the people, want. It's our election, and we're voting for our rights. Now, I can hear a lot of people, I can just imagine a lot of people going, yeah, doesn't do any good. Look at where the state we're in, so on and so forth. Check this out. Do you want to be part of the solution, or do you want to be part of the problem? Do you want to help do something about it, or do you want to moan and groan? Is this what you want your children to inherit? Is this what you want your nieces, nephews, loved ones, the planet, our country, our society? I mean, this is not what we want to leave. So, and particularly around affordable housing. So Proposition E, what is so beautiful about Proposition E is we're drawing the line in the sand. And we're drawing the line and we're saying, okay, big money's coming. And this is what was agreed to, really what we're talking about, folks, is some compliance. We are so out of compliance with the contractual agreements that were entered into between the powers that be and the new powers that came in. Okay, so, but before we go further in the E, because all of this is related to why we have a problem achieving affordable housing in San Francisco and why so many cannot afford to live here and why it's just going to get worse. Fortunately, because we're San Franciscans, we're the only ones that can vote for Proposition E. No matter how other people feel, I would only say that in terms of those who do not care about others having a place to live. and decency with some dignity and ability to raise their families and feed their families. But before we go into Proposition E, because that's what we're talking, that's the main topic of discussion today, I was looking at the candidates for the state Senate, and I came up with Nancy Pelosi again. Now, we are not talking about whenever we consider who to vote for, we have to vote for whoever is the closest. There are no ideal candidates. You've heard many things. You've heard us mention many things, including the pollution and contamination at the Hunters Point Naval Shipyard, which Nancy Pelosi was signed off on or approved. Okay, have a picture of her digging the dirt, and I hope they all got tested. But nevertheless, the bottom line, what's most important? What's most important is what can we unite around? What's most important is Nancy Pelosi. I looked at all the candidates. She's the only one where diversity is clear. We do not have time for foggy diversity. Either one believes in diversity, and that their election materials will show that. But even more so than their election materials, what will show that will be their track record. Where have they been? What have they been? What have they done? Who have they helped? So we have to go with Nancy Pelosi again. We're going to ignore the unprofessional acting and the stage play was fun, but we're down to serious business. It's 2020. No more time. So Nancy knows what to do. Miss Nancy, we need you to get busy. You have our full support. Okay, so unfortunately, we cannot make another recommendation. Actually, Nancy Pelosi is our representative for California State Senate. We cannot make a recommendation for anyone else because we cannot recommend a state senator rather. Nancy is our United States Senator, and there are people running for the California State Senate. We can't make a recommendation for any candidate. We don't see the diversity. We don't see a track record of commitment to affordable housing. Affordable housing, as a real estate specialist, affordable housing specialist, there's a term called the band of affordability. That's the transparency that shows who can afford what. What income levels qualify for this particular construction? We'll kick back again, we'll roll back again, because everything's about the housing. Everything's about land. So we can't afford, there isn't another senator that I see that we could vote for. Now, I would have, Scott Weiner, had he endorsed Proposition E, because let me tell you, I'm not for dog and pony shows and the kinds of things that people do right before election. Okay, first of all, you fight affordable housing, you fight affordable housing, you fight affordable housing for years. And then you fight it for the majority of your term, and then at the last moment, now you want to help the people. If you want to help the people, give us a SB bill that we can use, that will not displace people, that will show that is transparent, and that shows the band of affordability. The band, who can afford? What is the band? What are the numbers? What percentages? We need 30%, actually 25, 30, 40, 50. We need the band. So otherwise, affordable housing is a word that has been grossly misused, and we need to stop that. That has to stop. So as I looked at, okay, and this is why I don't have a state senator that we can recommend. I couldn't find one because when I looked at who is united on E, I see everyone here. Well, I see Chanel Williams. We certainly recommend her for the Community College Board, but and we recommend John Avalos for the Community College Board. He's a former supervisor, great San Franciscan, great track record. John didn't just get here, and we'll get back to that, to the DCC once again in a little bit. Let me give you a community service announcement. There's going to be regarding Caltrans and Alamany. Caltrans is a project, and they're going to host community meetings. So if you want to talk about construction, that's the place to go. But don't only talk about construction. Talk about construction management, project management. When they come through our communities with these jobs, this is what I was trying to, this is what I said and emphasize repeatedly in Hunters Point. That's great that they're coming in construction jobs, but we need people to come out with some skills. Everyone doesn't want to hold a sign. Everyone doesn't want to hammer. Some people are administrative workers or have administrative abilities, professions. Let us have the choice. Don't let the people be like field people and they can only work outside and only help build in that community, then that's it. We need sustainable employment. So when they come, a sustainable employment, understand what that means. You can only build once, but someone has to manage it. You need electricians, plumbers, you need qualified maintenance people, people that are leasing. If anyone that has a good conversation, you have the ability to lease. And that's a great paying commission profession, by the way. So on February the 19th from 6 to 8 at Martin Luther King Middle School at 350 Girard Street, San Francisco 94134. That used to be Portland, you guys. And we went to Portland. It's MLK Middle School. That's on the 19th from 6 to 8. That's to talk about the 101 freeway deck at Alamany Circle. Second meeting will be February the 20th at Willie Brown's Junior Middle School, 2055 Silver Avenue in the Bayview, and then in the Bernal Heights neighborhood on February 22nd from 1 to 3 p.m. When I see meetings that are 1 to 3 p.m., perhaps, because it's on a Saturday. We want to pay attention to that, folks, because when there are meetings being held that are important to our public good, we need meetings so appropriately done, was so appropriately done here, and that is from 6 to 8, okay? Because we need to have time. People need time to get off from work, get situated. So, the DCC, it's the Democratic County Central, it's the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. Basically what that is a group, it's the delegates that will go to the election. They will go to the convention, the Democratic Convention. Okay, so who are we recommending? Number one, John Avalos, Sean Haynes, Gloria Berry, Shaman Walton, of course, Bevitt Brackett, Chanel Williams, Raphael Mendelman. Those are our recommendations for the DCC. Love to see those delegates. There are a lot more. There's like 17 we can have that we voted for. Just time doesn't permit that I name them all. Let's talk about now. Voters in San Francisco, we're going to talk about Proposition E. Okay, voters in San Francisco will soon vote for real affordable housing, accountability by large construction projects, and a compromise on housing in our city. A zero-sum building moratorium that ties new office space to affordable housing. The previous similar propositions were so tricky, people voted no when they really meant to vote yes. So we here at San Francisco Weekly News felt that it was imperative that we break down precisely why we encourage a yes vote on E next month, March the 3rd, during our California primary. Proposition E, a measure coming up on the ballot next month in March, would limit future office growth in San Francisco as a function of the city's shortfall of new affordable housing. Under this new accounting, in any year that the city fails to live up to its state mandated, remember I mentioned the California Health and Safety Code? Under this new accounting, in any year that the city fails to live up to its state mandated obligation to approve new affordable housing, the legal cap on new office space would be lowered by the same degree. A miss on housing would mean a proportionate dip in new office space. Smaller affordable housing, smaller office space. If this proposal sounds complicated, Don't let them fool you. It really isn't. It is not complicated, but they would have you think so. The amount of new office space that's allowed in San Francisco is already capped. Thanks to the ballot that when we voted the ballot in 1986, most of us voted for it. And most people voted for it. They didn't understand. Given the city's well-known failures on the affordable housing front, let me say that again. Given the city's failures on the affordable housing front, new office space production would almost certainly take a hit under this initiative. Oh well, people first. How about that? 1 or 2 digit percent default on in the goal set by California would result in a 1 or 2 digit percent reduction in office construction. See, one of the things about the office construction is a lot of times it's only on the first or second floor. Then up top, what do you have? You have luxury condos and luxury apartments. I do not begrudge anyone living in a luxury condo, luxury apartment. But what I do have a problem with is anyone preventing adherence to the California Health and Safety Code as regard to housing and not ensuring their rights, the rights of all Californians to live under the compliance of the California Health and Safety Code. By design, Proposition E sets up a trade-off. Overdue. We all know about quid pro quo by now, right? That means big office does something for us, the people. We, the people, do something for big office projects. Fair exchange is no robbery. You do something for us, we do something for you. By design, it sets up Proposition E. This is why we encourage voting yes on E. It sets up office space and affordable housing. According to the initiative sponsor, John Ebling, he's the executive director of TODGO, and he says either we're going to significantly increase our affordable housing or reduce our office development. It's going to be one or the other. I love this guy because we don't have time. It's got to be one or the other. Either we're going to work together. They want office space in San Francisco. They want to continue to push people out that aren't as fortunate as some others. Then they don't get to do that. They have to adhere to the California Health and Safety Code. The Proposition E measure is the latest in a long line of ballot initiatives aimed to cool San Francisco's incandescent housing market by tamping down demand. We've got to cut the demand down, folks. That's why it's crazy. Too much demand. There's so many other places. Of course, I love the tax dollars. We need that, but not at the expense of people. Money does not come before people. We have to stop it. And we as San Francisco voters can vote yes on Proposition E. And we, ideally, what's supposed to happen is we're going to set a precedence here. That's what we're going to do. Don't sell out. Do not let them wine and dine you. No day-old food, no dinners, no recognition. If they never mention your name, it doesn't matter. Know in your heart that you did the right thing. Do the right thing not only for yourself, but for the future generations. Proposition E makes the connection explicit. If the city can't get new affordable housing, then it can't have new industry. Fairness. Simple. Proposition E will put new pressure on this growth of will put new pressure on the Bay Area's growth industry. Under the new dispensation or under the new arrangement, developers as well as other sectors that derive benefits from growth will have a strong incentive to make sure that affordable housing gets built. The idea is to turn developers into a lobby for affordable housing. It would be in their self-interest. Then that's where we get the help. They do something for us, then we can do something for them. They will push even harder for more funding for affordable housing. Further, the measure would expedite developments that include their fair share of affordable housing units or pay them to be built elsewhere. Should San Francisco fail to hit its affordable housing targets? The Proposition E regulation will instead slow new office projects, a win-win scenario. When you're in a hole, you stop digging. And that's what Mr. Elbring said. And I totally agree. When you're in a hole, stop digging. We're in a hole, we have a cap, we have to stop digging. Now, someone that's against Proposition E, they said, well, when looking at the jobs housing balance, it's appropriate to look at the regional level. People are commuting all over this region, many coming from the Central Valley. What I think is important is that the entire region step up to build. Absolutely. Enough affordable housing to house our residents rather than trying to necessarily dice up. Well, we agree. But let's go back to voting yes on Proposition E, because we agree, but we're going to start at home first. First, we will start at home. We will vote yes on E for San Francisco. Yes, the city shall tie, voting yes on E means the city shall tie square footage allotment to certain large office projects to whether the city is meeting its affordable housing goals. I love to be part of that, but I'm part of it anyway, directly or indirectly. And yes, the criteria for approving certain office projects. In other words, vote yes on E for affordable housing accountability on large office projects. This is an example of real affordable housing legislation. The problem to date with large office projects construction is they include luxury condos and condominiums that with little or no commitment to affordable housing. So they don't care if you or me or he or she or the family can afford it. We, as residents of San Francisco, we have a unique opportunity, as I mentioned before. Only we San Franciscans can actually do something because only we can vote in San Francisco to set this precedence. And now we can do something about being priced out of our own city. We welcome others. Developers, vote yes on Proposition E for some affordable housing. Let the people speak. People speak your voices. Vote yes on Proposition E for San Francisco. Rock the vote. This is Diane Wesley Smith. I want to say thank you very much for joining me. I want to thank AAA Bayview Real Estate for their support. I want to thank Supervisor Shaman Walton. I want to thank all of the people in the community who stop and show me so much love and say, Diane, what are we going to do about this? We've been going through this for years, and we just keep on pushing, we keep on trying, and we do not give up. We will not stop. We can't stop. Vote yes on E. Vote for your future. Vote for what's right. Do what's right in your heart. San Franciscans, we have a unique opportunity, and shame on us if Proposition E does not pass. Vote yes on Proposition E. Vote for the presidential candidate of your choice. Vote for Nancy Pelosi again. She's the best that we have, folks. We don't have time for people. I'm seeing a lack of diversity in a lot of campaign material. That's very disconcerting. The fact that Scott Weiner did not vote yes on Proposition E, his support is nowhere here. That's indicative of where one is coming from. People can show you better than they can tell you. They'll say a lot of things, but I don't see his face here. Let me see if we see David Chu. It's usually David Chu and Scott Weiner. I like David. I like Scott, but they don't like affordable housing. So they're not looking out for our people. Our people, all colors. We're not going to be playing this color game, folks. No. So rock the vote. Get your absentee ballots. If you don't have an absentee ballot, that's cool. There's many other things that you can do. Call 311 to find out. Find out where your polling place is. They open at 7 on March the 3rd and close at 8 p.m. Review your political party preferences, study, and God bless you. We'll see you soon. Thank you for joining us. Good night. This is Diane Wesley Smith. Bye-bye.